Hello students, in this video we will learn the procedure for laboratory test of compaction of soil. As we know, for any type of construction, first we do the compaction of soil over which the structure has to be made. Now, the compaction of soil means the densification of soil by removing the air voids from the soil by through any mechanical means, and this is known as compaction of that soil. So, why this compaction is done? By doing compaction, the air void gets reduced and the density of the soil sample gets increased, and thus increase in shear strength can be seen and bearing capacity of soil can be enhanced. And also it reduces the compressibility and permeability of the soil, and the settlement of the structure can be prevented. So, that is the reason we do the compaction of soil. So, in test in India we follow two types of test for the compaction of soil, which is light compaction test and heavy compaction test. And IS 2720 part 6 and part 8 describes this light compaction test and heavy compaction test respectively. So, in India these two Indian standards is followed for the compaction test, whether this is light or heavy. Now, for light compaction test we need a mold attached with a collar and this hammer, and also some miscellaneous tools are also needed. So, there are two types of test as we just saw, light compaction test and heavy compaction test. All the instruments are same, but there is a slightly difference in procedure. So, in the light compaction test the free fall of the rammer is 31 centimeter, and for heavy compaction test the free fall is 45 centimeter. Also, the weight of rammer is different for light and heavy compaction test. Now, for light compaction test, what we do, we just take oven dry soil. First we take oven dry soil and it is mixed with some amount of water, It is thoroughly mixed and this soil is filled into this mold of 1/3. And after filling this 1/3 soil, we do compaction with the help of this rammer, and the number of blows is 25. And after completing this 25 number of blows, the top surface of the layer is scratched through any knife or any pointed instrument, so that the next layer which will be compacted cannot be make some layer. And for correct or for perfect bonding between each layer, we do this top surface. After completing this 25 number of blows and scratching of the top surface, we repeat this same procedure, that is filled the next 1/3 of the mold and compacted through this rammer, and number of blows is 25. And next the remaining 1/3 is filled with this soil and it is compacted through this rammer for 25 number of blows. And also remember this compaction of the soil through this rammer should be uniform, that is the movement of this rammer throughout this soil sample. Do not compact at only one place. So, just keep rotating this or keep moving this hammer throughout the soil sample, so that each point or each corner of the soil can be compacted. So, this is the observation table for the compaction of soil. First, what we take, just first we weight the mold, just note down the weight of the mold. Next, after compacting all the three layers, when this compaction is done, just detach the collar and weight the mold only with soil. So, if we know this weight, and already we know we have the value of weight of the mold, then after difference will be the weight of the soil. And if the weight of the soil gets divided by the volume of this mold, we can get the bulk density of the soil sample. And if we know the water content of each soil sample, so for knowing the water content of the soil sample, what we do, we just take some amount of soil sample from the soil and keep it in the oven for 24 hours, and after 24 hours just get the reading of all these things, weight of container plus wet soil, which is taken before this or before the placing the soil into the oven, weight of the container plus wet soil. After 24 hours, we can get the weight of container plus dry soil, and difference between this we know, and by applying the formula we can get the water content W. And the dry density can be calculated by, since we have the value of gamma B, by 1 plus water content. So from here we can get the dry density. Now if we have the value of bulk density and water content, and if we plot these two data in a graph, then we can get the compaction curve or OMC curve, as it can be seen in this graph. So as you can see, the graph, initially the weight of or dry density is increased, and after a certain value it get decreased. Why it happens? Because when we take first oven dry soil, since this is oven dry soil, and in oven dry soil there is some soil solid and some air voids, and if after pouring or after mixing the water, what happens, this if we add the water, this air void get expelled. So and hence the weight of this soil sample is increased, that is we can say the density is increased. And when all the air void is expelled with water or replaced with the water, and if we further add the water, this water get start replacing the soil solid, and thus decreasing the density of the soil sample. Now the demonstration of this test is explained through a video which is made by my students Shravan, Pankaj, Satyam and Syam. So just see that video and learn the procedure for the laboratory test of compaction of soil.
Initially, we will take 3500 gram of soil sample, and in that soil sample we will mix 6% of that soil sample, means 3500 gram will be 210 gram of water, and we will put water into this soil sample, and then we will mix soil with water thoroughly and make our mixture ready for compaction test. During mixture of water and soil sample, make sure that the prepared soil sample should not have any lumps present in it. Soil sample was silty, inorganic silty. When we will mix water into this sample, it has gained some water. Due to water content, it has gained a sticky property. That's why we will put some grease at the base of the mold. We will fit mold at the base, and then we will put one layer of prepared soil sample into this mold. And we will provide also the upper part of this mold and tighten the screw. we will fit mold at the base, and then we will put one layer of prepared soil sample into this mold. And we will provide also the upper part of this mold and tighten the screw. We will level first layer of provided soil sample, and then we will provide 25 number of flows to that first layer to make it compacted. After giving 25 number of flows to first layer, now we will provide second layer soil sample to the mold. Now again for the second layer, as we have leveled in first layer, we will again do that procedure for second level and third level also. Means we will level the soil sample provided in the mold, and then we will respectively give 25 number of flows to the second layer, and also we will give 25 number of flows to the third layer. After giving 25 number of flows to respective first layer, second layer and third layer, now we will remove mold collar After removing this mold collar, we will trim excess of soil over this mold. Take this mold and take weight of this and note down the weight. Now we will put this mold on the universal soil sample extruder machine, and we will fix this extraction plate at top of this mold, and make sure that your mold should be centered properly. Now we will fix this mold and extraction plate by tightening this screw. After fixing the mold, we will make this piston in upward up position, and will move this handle in forward direction and backward direction. Up to that extent, our compacted soil sample will not get out into universal soil sample extruder. We will observe that our compacted soil sample is getting out by moving this handle in forward direction and backward direction. When our compacted soil sample will get outward, we will take it into a tray. Now cut this soil sample into 3 parts. And take some part of soil sample into the can from each part. Now take the weight of this soil sample taken from each part of these three layers. Now we will preserve this soil sample in oven so that our dry soil sample will get ready from this wet soil sample for the determination of water content into this soil. Repeat same procedure as we have done earlier for that number of sample up to which our weight of compacted soil sample is not getting reduced. As when the water content will be higher, the water will get the solid soil sample will get displaced by the water molecule, and that's why our weight will get decreased after reaching some moisture content, and that moisture content will be our optimum moisture content, and that is the main aim of compaction. Should be closed before putting your soil sample into oven. Now we will put all the soil sample that we have used for our compaction, and we will put this soil sample into oven. After putting soil sample, put on oven. The purpose of putting this wet soil sample into this oven is to make the soil sample dry, and that dry soil sample, with comparing with wet soil sample weight, we will determine water content of the soil sample.